what's going on, guys. I think we're running good. What's up, David, Patrick, Synchro, Renee? Oh, let me turn it down. Let me turn myself up. Right that way. All right, how about now? Got to find that balance. Let's figure out, start with something just besides going boop and just pop it in. All right. Well, there's some shit to talk about tonight for sure. As you see on the banner, the shooting at Brown University. It's pretty shitty. I think they've confirmed that. Let's see. I need to check one thing real quick. A couple things while we're getting started. I think they said they've already confirmed two people passed away. I think up to 20 people shot. People, they were shot. Whatever the hell they want. They want us. Whatever. I don't care. That's what happened. And yeah. So kind of a crazy thing going on. I guess we can look. Let me look at the latest upload corner. We'll see what's going on. This is about 2 hours ago was when this guy gave the it was the first FBI official. Yeah, I didn't either until I sat down to eat a while ago, and I thought, well, I wonder what's going on. And sure enough, there it was. So let's see what this cop has to say real quick, and then we'll go from there.
Gifts for the outdoors and the outdoorsy. Eddie Bauer.
All right, because some of the politicians right now, like Presley, Congresswoman Presley, is saying ban weapons, and we have a problem with weapons and guns. You know, a lot of the politicians
Fixing to give the press conference. It said at 2 minutes. Let's see.
You know, these incidents and say there's gun problems.
It was.
Guns and guns and guns.
There it
Here's
is.
the shooter used a
Back up just a hair.
Vice President of Public Safety and Emergency Management that serves as Chief of Police. As mentioned, and we will mention this several times, this is a very fluid situation and dynamically evolving. Needless to say, my primary concern is the safety and security of this community. And we are encouraging, if anyone has information about the tragic events that unfolded this afternoon, to please contact us and provide that information. At this moment, I do want to say and share that my profound thanks and appreciation for all of the first responders who have come to assist us and all that are gathered right now speaking to continue this investigation, to include all of the City of Providence resources, state resources, and the federal government in terms of the FBI and ATF. Sir.
Now, Commander Tim O'Hara from Providence Police.
Good evening, Tim O'Hara, Deputy Chief of Providence Police. So earlier this afternoon, when we received the call for an active shooter inside a building inside Brown University, our officers responded, and as they're trained to do, entered that building immediately and began searching for a suspect. They did a systematic search of the building. However, no suspect was located at that time. They were able to clear that building and provide a safe place for all of students and faculty and workers that were in that building to meet at. Preliminarily, all we have is a suspect that was a male dressed in black. It is unknown how he entered the building, but we do know that he exited the Hope Street side of that complex. We're utilizing every resource possible to find this suspect. The shelter in place is in order, and I urge people to take that very seriously. Please do not come to the area. There's an active police investigation going on, and there's a lot of police activity. We've got assistance so far from some surrounding communities, the state police, the Cranston Police, East Providence Police, as well as our federal partners in the FBI and the ATF. We're talking to witnesses at this time and delving into any video that's in the area and very.
I don't know if you cut off. Suspect left out on the Hope Street side.
Yeah, we have a few more. Next, Fire Chief Derek Silva.
What's up, Chili Bean?
Derek Silva, Fire Chief of the City of Providence. As mentioned previously, at 4:05 p.m., we were dispatched to the area of Waterman and Thayer for an active shooter incident where our firefighters, known as a rescue task force, linked up with Providence Police with two operational locations at Waterman and Thayer and Waterman at Hope. Rescue Task Force is a firefighter that wears body armor and has ability to stop any shooting wounds and make sure that any victims are extricated quickly. With the assistance of police in neighboring cities and towns, 8 people were transported, as the mayor mentioned, critical but stable condition, and 2, unfortunately, were dead on arrival. We have a total of 10 victims, but as I caution everyone, this is a developing incident, and we are still actively searching the buildings along with Providence Police to make sure that everyone has gone home safe and that there are no one else that needs our.
So far, it's like they haven't found the guy. He has unalived a couple of people. Wow. How sad. So what else? We'll find out real quick.
Thank you, Chief. And then last, we'll hear from the Provost of Brown University, Frank Doyle.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Frank Doyle, Provost of Brown University. I want to reiterate, this is an evolving situation, as you've heard multiple times. Our first priority is the safety of our academic community, the campus community, and coordinating closely with law enforcement and medical services. In the meantime, we continue to direct our community to shelter in place in the greater vicinity of the
Here's even a
campus.
better update. So let's go to
We
this
are
guy
working
right here.
immediately to determine who was in the
Hill.
building at the time of the shooting. Our card swiped, but since there was a final exam, there was probably a
Audio
lot of
shit.
traffic. Yeah.
And where did it happen in the building? Did this take place inside where the exam was going on?
It's not on my end. Anyway,
We're still verifying
So-
everything. So, and we look at everything right now as all.
we
part
don't
of the
know a lot
process.
more.
Was the victim found like in a hallway or were they in a classroom?
Crazy. Yeah, Synchrotron, you're gonna die when I tell you this. I was messing around while I was eating. I saw it ASMR crap. So I looked up a 1-minute clip, ASMR puppies. See what it pulled up. I don't know what the hell that was, but okay. It pulled up this person doing their thing. So I made several. I just threw puppy pictures at it. It's a bunch of videos, pictures, and let it make it. I made like 4 of them. Them suckers are going. I mean, I've got like 500 like within 30 minutes on them. So there's people that watch that crap. It may be brain rot. I'm not going to watch it, but I'll take their little video clips or little audio, whatever, and I'll put my puppies up there, whatever, and I'll take the 2,000 to 3,000 hits off of it. But anyway, what else was I going to show you guys? didn't really hear a whole lot until that damn shooting started. Been trying to get rid of a few of these puppies because I am ready for them to find new homes. They're getting too big. Reading the chat, I'm trying to catch up. Gangs talking. No, I've never heard of that. Yep, everybody loves good old puppies. That is true, and I love them too, but man, I get tired of cleaning up behind them. The bigger they get, the bigger their messes are. But I'm letting them go outside. I mean, they've been vaccinated for a little while now, so they get to run around the yard, and so it's not like they're being kept in that little room now. They're running around being little puppies now. So it is getting better. But tomorrow night they're gonna have to go up because it's supposed to get down to like 25 here. So they're gonna have to go back into the laundry room where there's heat because 25 is just too cold. But yeah, I did the copyright thing by the way, and all I had to do was the same thing I did before. Wherever it bitched at me, I clipped it out. And once I clipped it out, posted it. So it looked real good. I watched some of it just to see how smooth it was and how it recorded and everything, and it did good. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I did change uh, the video. Now it's on 1080p or yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what I got it set at. Um, I changed the video to 1920 by 1080. The output is 640 by 360. And the downscale filter I'm using is a bicubic sharpened scaling 16 sample at 30 frames a second. So it should be crisper than it was. So that's what I'm currently at. That's what I'm currently set at. Now what it's doing, I could still have something else, but really. And my output, oh, it said change my output to 6,000. I got it at 12, or I got it at 1,200. It said change it to 6,000. Let's see what it does. I can change that. Y'all can tell me if it gets better or worse. Uh, 16 to 9, and that's what was suggested by ChatGPT. I'm not saying they're right. See, now I'm pulling about 6,000 kilobytes a second. I was just doing 1,200. Now, if it doesn't matter, I'll kick it back down. So I'm not using as much. I don't know. I've still got to figure it out. On my end, it looks fine, but that's on my end. I don't know why I need to do that. Let's do 3,000. See if there's a difference. Yeah, another long day. So it was better before at 6,000. See if there's anything else about that shooting or what else is going on. We're still looking for whoever did it, I can tell you that. You know, they had an ISIS guy hurt some guys. I believe it was in Syria today. Um,
We have got to the point.
we'll look at this real quick. We'll just watch the very beginning because it is relevant.
All right, you're listening to 96.7 Radio KUK. It's a real scorcher out there.
So Senior Director Michael Allen. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What is your reaction to this devastating news from Syria? 2 American service members killed, 1 American interpreter killed as well, and 3 others wounded. Your thoughts?
Well, it's painful to hear about this occurrence, especially so close to the holidays. It's a reminder that we have troops in harm's way across the world. Here in Syria, in particular, our chief U.S. national interest is counterterrorism. Of course, President Trump in his first term really loosened the rules of engagement and went after and put his foot on the gas and took down ISIS. But ISIS is still there. It's still present in smaller numbers. And here they're sort of opportunistically seeing some U.S. troops come in, probably to work with the locals in order to completely finish off some local ISIS cells. And they took advantage of that and apparently didn't have enough security. So this is just something tragic we hear about, but it's a reminder for all of us that counterterrorism or Islamic extremism is going to be something that the United States needs to stay involved with. We need to keep our boot on their throats or they will come after us, if not in the Middle East, then here in the United States.
We understand there are about 900 U.S. troops operating in Syria, a counter-ISIS mission. And while the leadership of Syria has changed, Bashar al-Assad's been out for about a year. Obviously, there are still some remnants of the terrorist group there, correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's what's also interesting about what's going on in Syria now. You have a new leader who deposed al-Assad, as you've mentioned. He alighted out to Moscow when he couldn't hold control of the country anymore. You've got Iranians that are in this particular part of the world. You have other ethnic groups, some of whom are allied with us. So it is a really fractured, ungoverned part of the world. We would normally want to stay out of a place like.
Yeah, it's a shithole. And why we put our people over there in danger and all they want to do is kill us, I have no idea. Spend that money. Well, they're saying Trump could reschedule cannabis as soon as Monday. I don't know if anybody else cares or, but yeah. Yeah, now Trump, he's come out and said there's going to be serious attacks back. So yeah, the machine is still operating. Yeah, the football coach, that's kind of crazy. He's lost his job. He's losing everything over that chick. Don't care about the Candace Owens thing. Thank God we ain't got to listen to that crap. No, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be Schedule 3, but it's going to be like Tylenol 3, something like that. I believe it's Tylenol 3, like a codeine is what it's going to be scheduled as. They're saying that there's word out that he's going to do an executive order Monday. So we'll see. They got to do something because states are operating in direct opposition to federal law. So they need to kind of synchronize the two. Banning is just stupid. We've never had a war on anything that worked. We had a war on terrorism. All we did was get blowed up. We had a war on drugs. People just got on worse drugs. All that shit don't work. I have a war on illiteracy. Well, God, people are more stupid and literate now than they ever were. So, if you want something done, just tell the government to do the opposite of what you want done. And then they'll fuck it up and like reverse psychology type shit. The ASMR crap, that short I made popped up on my feed. That's funny. Uh, do, 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 do. Yeah, other than the Syria and the other thing, nothing ever come out of them fighters last night that we was talking about. They were following the fighter jets over there and all that. I never really heard nothing else about it. I hadn't seen this. Huh. Russell Crowe trashes Hollywood at the end of Gladiator 2 in a brutal video. Let's just see what old Russell has to say. I reckon my buddy's a good actor.
Back when he absolutely destroys Gladiator 2 and also the state of Hollywood in this absolutely brutal epic video that we're going to be checking out here today. It shows that he has really had enough of a lot of the moral problems that Hollywood has and a lot of the absolutely disgusting things that Hollywood continues to do. So we're going to go ahead and check this out and see what it says here today, because Hollywood is very shocked today after what he said. There's been tons of articles about this with everyone just clutching their pearls over what Russell Crowe says here today. And well, this isn't the first time that he also said something about Gladiator 2. He said something about it last year too, where he gave some kinder words for Gladiator 2 last year before he gets into what we're going to talk about today and the video that we're going to check out, because of course I'm dead and I have no say in what gets done. A couple of things that I've heard, I'm like, no, that's not in the moral journey of that particular character. Obviously talking about Maximus, but you know I can't say anything that's not my place. I'm 6 feet under, so we'll see what that is like. There's definitely a tinge, and this is just being purely honest, a tinge of melancholy, a tinge of jealousy, because I remember when I had tendons. And so I always appreciate Russell Crowe and what he has to say, because he is very honest. He is brutally honest, in fact, more honest and more just authentic than most of the people in Hollywood. But this is what he had to say in this video about Gladiator 2.
I think the recent sequel that, we don't have to name out loud is a really unfortunate example of even the people in that engine room not actually understanding what made the first one special. It wasn't the pomp, it wasn't the circumstance, it wasn't the action, it was the moral core. And the thing is, there was a daily fight on that set. It was a daily fight to keep that moral core of the character. The amount of times they suggested sex scenes and stuff like that for Maximus is like, you're taking away his power. But what do you do?
So I just want to talk about that real quick. It's very obvious that Russell Crowe understands what clicks with audiences more than pretty much anybody in Hollywood does today. He understands why people appreciate characters like Maximus and appreciate films like Gladiator, which they have completely thrown all of what made the original film special out the window. And so he obviously understands. He was frustrated about Hollywood in the same way that many of us are frustrated about Hollywood.
Power. But what are you talking about? So you're saying at the same time he had this relationship with his wife, he was fucking this other girl? What are you talking about? It's just crazy. The women in Europe, when that movie started coming out, I would be at restaurants and they'd come and talk to me, go, what's going on? It's like, hey, it wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Talking about Gladiator 2 there, when that came out last year, I think it was last year, I don't remember, because the movie was very forgettable, absolutely terrible. And I'm not the only one that thinks that, because, well, the movie did not do very well in the box office. Let's not forget that. It actually was technically a flop in the box office, which is just absolutely insane. Audiences over on Criticalist also gave it a 44%.
Yeah, I never saw it, but hey, at least he's being honest. Just catch some of the chat for a second. Yeah, you just got to make sure for $100 a month it's unlimited. Because every one of them that I've looked at, you can buy. It's like $100 a month, but you get 100,000 credits, and then for each video, it might take 10,000 credits to make a 5-minute video. So you just got to look at it real close. No, hell, none of them are worth watching. They're shit. Look at how bad Superman was. Sorry, and I like the story and the character and all that. It sucked, in my opinion. $2,000 credits. Huh. Cool. Now, saying that, there were parts of the movie that were good, like the robots and the lenses in the sun and all that stuff, but there's a lot of it that I did not enjoy. It was just, it's kind of boring, especially if you compare it to, I don't remember who directed the other one. Was it Schneider with Henry Cavill in it? That was a better one. I mean, that, my opinion. Yeah, right. She's good to party with. Yeah, the CW I think it was CW did a Supergirl thing a few years ago. I think it lasted like 6 seasons, but the girl ended up getting pregnant, so that kind of ended that. That she was really prim and proper, and of course they had to make the sister gay. Um, but other than that, and Jimmy Olsen was a black guy who she was kind of getting romantically involved in. So they threw their woke crap in there too. But anyway, they have the new one. Uh, and then the Flash, they put her as a dark-headed girl, which is kind of weird because they never really had her dark-headed. But this new girl, she's a blonde. I don't even know her name. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, every single one of them. Yeah, yeah, she's a cute girl. Very cute. I can't remember her name though. But yeah, which is fine. That's the age you go have babies at. I mean, she did what the normal human experience. I hope it is good. I like good movies, man. A lot of times there hadn't been too many good ones. What y'all do? Run Renee off? She sure is quiet. You didn't scared her away. Yeah, well, Smallville was good. Number one, it had a good Lex Luthor character. Um, the bald-headed guy. He played a good young Luthor. The Clark Kent guy, young innocent kid, good looking young boy. Now he's a bigger man, but he's still a good looking guy. Uh, that wasn't a bad story. Then you got Superman and Lois that was on HBO or is on HBO. I think it was on like 4 seasons. They had a son, or they had two sons, and they both die at the end of the seasons. So, but it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. Oh, she's in prison. Yeah, yeah. She got involved in a cult and abusing people, and yeah, she went to prison. She may be out now, and she's a cute little girl, but evidently somebody got in her head. Some weird shit went down. But no different than that. Look at that guy from the '70s show. So popular with the curly hair. What was his name? Not Foreman. Hyde. I think he went by Hyde. I think it was called Hyde. I don't know his real name, but anyway, I think they got him on rape or something. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree, but it's kind of how it was in the '70s. The dad walking around calling everybody a dumbass, which most of them were. Um, the mom, she looked like she went to the doctor too much, was on too many prescriptions. She's funny. Um, they did one called the '80s show with the same older couple with different kids, and I don't think it worked at all. I saw like one uh, episode or a piece of an episode. So yeah, no. But yeah, they try and remake everything. Oh shit. And by the way, if you're watching on TV, we're reading the chat. So this is really, if you if you're watching, a lot of what goes on in the chat. That's what we're reacting to. So we'll do call-ins if you guys want to tonight, or if not, we don't have to. It's up to y'all. Might as well put this. I need to practice doing this shit. Hmm, let's see. There's a lot of little crap to remember. And I forget. See if this works or not. I don't know if it'll do a link. See, it's not going to link, I don't think. Someone try and click that link and tell me if it does anything. I don't think it does. I think I screwed it up. I gotta find where. Oh, I can go to X and do it. That's where I get it at. One day it'll matter. It ain't like it's gonna matter today, but one day it will. If I don't start practicing doing it right now, I'm not going to. So there it is. This should work. Try this. We'll see if this works. Now it's a link. Okay. I just gotta remember to do that. Yeah. Oh shit! It took it away. If you retract the message, it takes away the pin too. That's crazy. All right. Did not know that. Huh. Learn something new every day. Cool. Well, let's see if they found that guy yet. They didn't know where he was hiding. Suspect on the run. Let's look what this guy's saying. This guy. I ain't gonna try and say his name. They're doing an update right now.
Your connections to the past are waiting.
All right.
Looking towards Hope Street. And as I mentioned, that will be shared as soon as we conclude. We are still encouraging, as we did earlier, for anyone who thinks that they might have information relevant to the investigation to call the police, the Providence Police non-emergency line, which is 401-272-3121. 401-272-3121. Of course, you can also call 911, but if you have information that you think might be able to assist in our investigation, please give us a call. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to our Governor, Dan McKee, who's been in touch with federal, state partners and has been a tremendous assistance to us here in Providence throughout the evening. Governor?
Hey, Mayor, and thank you for your leadership and all your entire team. And our job right now is to support your team, and we're doing just that. All our state resources are available, not only to the mayor, but also Brown University, which our hearts go out to Brown University. I have had calls along with the mayor, with the FBI director, Patel, who's offered assistance to us as well, a direct assistance. I just received the call from the President Trump as well, expressing the same type of urgency and the same type of offers to respond to us in a way that we, one, keep people safe, but also, two, we're going to make sure that we catch the individual that brought so much suffering to so many people. And so with that, I would just say that we're going to continue to work together. State police is on board. We know that there's going to be needed for some counseling strategies, so we've already activated that through our health department. And we'll make sure that we take the lead from the mayor and then provide all the assistance we possibly can, along with your lead as well, President Paxton. So with that, I'll give the mic back to you.
Thank you, Governor. Now we'll introduce Brown University President Christine Paxton. Brown PD was the first to respond and has been an incredible partner, and we have two priorities right now as a community. One, to bring the individual responsible to justice, and two, to pray for the full recovery of those affected. The Brown community's heart is breaking, and Providence's heart is breaking along with it. We're a week and a half away from Christmas, and all of us are getting calls from concerned families, parents, employees, relatives. And so, President, we just want you to know that Providence and Brown stand together today, tomorrow, and in the months ahead. Please.
Thank you. Yes, this is the day that one hopes never happens, and it has. I really appreciate everything that the local law enforcement and everybody is doing to help find this person, make sure that we can be safe as a community. Our focus right now is on supporting the families who have been affected by this, the families of the two students who sadly lost their lives today, as well as the 8, now 9 students who are in the hospital. We've been in touch with their families. I will talk to them soon. But, you know, we will come together as a community and we'll get through this. Currently, the students are still all in lockdown, as are people in the area. And
Still on
hopefully we
lockdown?
can get
Damn.
them back to their dorms and feeling safe and secure as soon as possible. But thank you for everything you're doing, Mayor.
Thank you, Chris. We'll take questions for law enforcement personnel, anyone who's here today and share as much information as we can at this time.
Can we,
Dan.
Dan J. from Channel 10, Mayor, as you know, can you talk a little bit about what we're going to see in this video? Or can
Commander.
Deputy Chief Oates?
Video coming out
We're
soon,
going to ask
guys.
Commander O'Hara to answer that question.
Sure. What you're going to see is a video from the building where this incident took place, 184 Hope Street. It's of who we believe is the suspect, leaving that area,
I'll make this a
walking
little
on
bigger
Hope
while
Street
we're-
and taking a right on Waterman towards the
Look at
towards
that,
the
so-
water. He's going to be wearing dark clothing. You're not going to be able to see his face. Dark gray or black clothing. And some of the witnesses have also told us that he may have been wearing a camouflage gray mask. That is unconfirmed. But if anybody should recognize this person in any way, seen him earlier, recognize his gait, obviously we want to know about that as soon
Deputy
as
Chief,
possible.
you had said, or somebody had said, and I want to make sure we're correct in reporting this, that he may have walked out of the building. And I'm wondering, how did he get access to the building, and is there video from inside the building?
That I don't have. I don't have the answer if there's video inside that building that depicts him. There is video inside that building. However, I haven't seen him on video inside that building. And he did walk out of the building.
So can
walked
you
away.
explain that to me, in all of us? So he was in the building, but we don't have video of him in the building.
We haven't recognized him in the video yet. We do see some video from inside the building of a commotion. Clearly, students are running. However, we don't have from the video that I've seen so far, we don't have the suspect depicted in a video.
Is there any reason to believe this is international terrorism, or is this just some disgruntled
That
student?
we don't know yet.
A disgruntled student that just came in to shoot up because he was upset about final exams or something like that?
We're not sure.
Amanda, have you been getting tips since the last briefing?
Yes, some tips have been coming in, and we have been running them down. We're going to be using the assistance of the FBI to categorize all the tips that come in so that we have it in an orderly format for us to look at. But yes, we have had some tips. None of them have worked out.
And
for us yet.
assistance
As
from
law
AI.
enforcement, do you think
It'll analyze
we
the
have a
video.
better idea than we did just 3 hours ago, since at least now you have a visual image?
Yes, a little bit better, but we're still not there yet, John.
Has law enforcement
Ian.
done inside the building?
Ian first.
Commander, has law enforcement done any building-by-building search of the area, surrounding area?
Yes, we have. We've gone through some buildings. We've made sure that students that were barricaded themselves in were safe. We removed them, and they're now in a reunification center.
How far has that search gone into the residential area around Brown?
It's gone to all the buildings that we think that were affected by it. Any student that called us and said that they were barricaded and they didn't feel safe, those are the buildings we checked.
Deputy Chief, does that video show a gun?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't show a gun? And also, Mayor, the president confirmed that all of the victims are students at Brown University.
I can't confirm that. I don't have that information to confirm.
Well, that's what you just said, right, President Paxton?
That's what I've been told, yes.
That all of the victims, including the 2 that passed, are students at Brown University.
The last one who came in recently, I'm not sure.
Okay.
There was a question over here.
Well, I don't think we're learning anything else from that, but I just saw this on X.
Shields All Sports Store is your one-stop shop for everything outdoors. With hunting and fishing experts eager to guide you.
Very interesting. So let me play it and you can tell me what you think. Let me get it off X. It's
Quiet. And I'm curious your thoughts on not just to say like, hey, everything.
It was Shane the last time he was on IRL. Oh shit. Let me get video or whatever's going on. There's no audio. Where is the audio?
That I feel like Shane has been quiet, and I'm.
For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. That's from 2 Timothy 1:7. Alad.
Wow, Shane, that was powerful. Thanks for saying that. I feel like Shane has been quiet, and I'm curious your thoughts on not just to say like, hey, everything that's going on we're talking about, but just like where we're going
I just feel compelled to say, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, and will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.
I asked Raymond. I think personally, and again, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I think anyone who thinks they have a relationship with God has an extremely huge ego. I think we're all specks of sand of the real prime creator, and the only time he's going to deal with us is when we pass on to the next lifetime. Then he judges us. We all will be judged. I don't see any point of the worship or any of this other
I will
stuff.
say then, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. James 4:7.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not.
I will say then, and give no opportunity to the devil. Ephesians 4:27.
Oh, I mean, listen, you can read a book that's 2,000
I will
years
say,
old,
whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil, and for the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3:8.
Brother, for 2,000 years, people thought Jesus was coming back, and he still isn't there. So what does that make all those people who died waiting for him?
I will say, behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you.
Behold the pale horse. They keep saying he's coming back, so, I mean...
You sound awfully quiet over there. As our resident outside of the box thinker, what do you think of numerology? And,
I think
what we've
be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world.
Wow.
Shane,
1 Peter 5:8-9.
Shane has wrapped himself in the armor of the Lord tonight.
That sounded nice.
That's legit.
Armor
That's
of the
actually,
Lord.
I don't know.
I mean, we have a whole bunch of people questioning numerology, but they're willing to believe the Bible and Quran with no evidence. So it is what it is.
I think half of the people here wouldn't even consider themselves Christian. Like, I
got one more thing to add before I go. Just want to say, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, and I'm praying for you.
Please don't pray, because when you pray, you become prey. Thank you.
I will. Despite that, I will pray for you, sir. Thank you very much. I'll see you all later.
I do not accept your prayers, but thank you.
That's Shane Cashman headed.
So much pushback with the numerology and astrology, but
That guy's a douchebag. In my opinion. Yeah. He's a trigger douchebag. But so is society, so. He didn't believe in the same things that I believe anyway. But it's not his beliefs that I didn't like. I didn't like his attitude. He was a fucking dick. And I don't have, you can have an argument and be civil and have civil discord. That guy had no interest in and even entertaining being cool about it. Anyway. I just saw that on X and I thought, whoa, wait a minute. And Simon MJ posted it. So Michelle PH, whoever that is. But I thought it was a good interesting post. You don't get too many of those on X. See. Yeah, I'm sitting there. I sit scrolled, and that's all I saw out of all that. That one thing. But yeah, I mean, no, he's just rude. And I'm sure Shane didn't like the fact that Tim didn't. I mean, the way Tim's jumping down everybody's throat, you think he'd tell the dude, "Hey, man, quit being so damn rude." No, he let him go, walk all over him. No, I'd probably said something else. You could hear the frustration in his voice, though, in my opinion. Okay, let's see. I sure hope they find that dude. Trump has been fully briefed on the Brown University shooting. And it says they are going after the death penalty of the alleged Charlie Kirk assassination guy. I'm surprised he hadn't been Epstein by now, but or Epstein. I don't know how you said the dude's name. Don't care.
We start this hour with a Fox News.
We'll go to this. This might be worth watching. It's another little update. This comes from Fox.
We start this hour with a Fox News alert. We do have an update in the active shooter situation at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. President Trump just posted on Truth Social the suspect is in custody, saying, quote, "I have been briefed on the shooting that took place at Brown University in Rhode Island. The FBI is on the scene. The suspect is in custody. God bless the victims and the families of the victims." Now, Boston FBI posted on X, quote, "FBI Boston is assisting our law enforcement partners in Rhode Island with any and all available resources, including evidence response, investigative and tactical support, as well as victim assistance. We urge the public to remain vigilant and report any and all suspicious activity to law enforcement immediately."
There you go. They got him in. Good. Because the last I saw, they hadn't. So that's awesome. Now, we need to put up a bet. What is he? Is he on SSRIs? Is he a pissed off trans person again? Is he? You know, it's a guy. It's always a guy. Always. If it was a woman, it would be, chances are astronomical. It could be a woman, but yeah. But I'm glad they got him. See who all's live tonight. Summoning the supernatural. Oh, that dude's on. Good Lord. I don't know what he's trying to summon. He just sits in the room with a red light, but is JD the new Charlie? I don't know about that one. Jimmy Dore's talking about the Antifa stuff. All right, we'll just look at this real quick since it is obviously a topic.
With what?
They're gonna be hitting Monday. This guy, he's pretty good about having his finger on the not just the pulse of what's going on with the cannabis industry, but with these big companies that produce.
Together, your love turned the whole world on its head. And all the while, you were watching clothes dry.
Into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today I'm going to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, and that's messaging. Look, as we get closer to a possible, and I want to say possible rescheduling announcement, fear-mongering campaigns are popping up online everywhere. They're not organic, they're paid, and they're designed to stall momentum. We talked about this earlier this week with Kyle Sherman, CEO of FlowHub, who's been vocal about this on Twitter, pointing out how opponents are spending money to amplify narratives that don't resonate with the public. So the question is, how does the cannabis industry respond and what needs to change? Well, we'll explain it here in our latest TDR Cannabis in 5. Okay, let's begin where Kyle has made some sharp points. These anti-cannabis campaigns, they aren't grassroots. They're defensive moves by entrenched interests who know rescheduling could be inevitable. So when you see posts with little engagement but heavy paid amplification, it's a signal. It tells us opponents are nervous, and it tells us the industry hasn't unified its messaging to counter them, really. And here's another key point. When opponents talk about cannabis, they never back it up with data. It's all about emotional language, meaning fear-based rhetoric, a worst-case scenario. Meanwhile, the regulated cannabis industry has mounting data, anything from research to tax revenue numbers to public health studies that show cannabis markets reduce harm, generate jobs, and expand medical access. So we'll explain more into detail what some of this information is, but first a quick word from Morgan & Morgan. There's a reason smart investors celebrate when their portfolio jumps 40% in a year, just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Now, by clicking the link in the description below, go in with the right team by contacting Morgan. If rescheduling is indeed announced, Washington will be watching how the industry frames the moment. So Kyle Sherman, again, he's pointed out that the industry often fails to connect with everyday consumers, and that right now is a mistake. Messaging can't just be about investors or operators. It has to resonate with voters, patients, and families. So when opponents push fear, the industry needs to push back. Regulated markets reduce harm, generate tax revenue, and definitely expand medical research. But as we know, facts alone, they aren't enough. The delivery, that's what matters. And right now, cannabis lacks a unified PR strategy. Other industries, when you look at tech, renewable energy, they have rallied around simple, consistent narratives. In cannabis, they need the same clarity. So the message should be this: rescheduling is about fairness, it's about science, and it's about economic opportunity. That is key in all this. We know this, but for those that don't, they don't know. So what are some examples of some strong messaging right now? And really, what does that strong messaging look like? So here are a few examples the industry should implement. One is MSO executive testimonials from customers. Imagine executives at major multi-state operators sharing real stories from patients and consumers. If they've done it, well, they got to do it more. Not just one-off quotes, but a coordinated campaign of testimonials that highlight how cannabis improves lives. These stories, they humanize the industry and they make it harder for opponents to frame cannabis as a threat. Then you have the full court press from high-profile names. This can't be one tweet here or one one interview there, it needs to be a sustained push from high-profile voices. So that includes CEOs, athletes, medical professionals, even celebrities, all reinforcing the same narrative. And let's face it, Washington, it responds to pressure, and pressure comes from visibility. Next up is consistency across channels, meaning messaging has to be constant. So we've got social media, press releases, op-eds, podcasts, all saying the same thing. The industry can't afford fragmentation right now. Another thing to point out as well is framing rescheduling as a win for research and tax fairness. So every message should tie back to the benefits, expanding medical research, relief from 280E, and economic growth. So these aren't just ideas, they're solutions. They're the kind of strategies that can shift the narrative from defense against fear-mongering campaigns to offense that builds confidence. We need some confidence. So now let's prepare in the event rescheduling is indeed announced. So if rescheduling does happen, the messaging has to evolve. Right now, the industry is fighting fear campaigns, as we know, and we've explained. But once the announcement is actually made, then the conversation definitely changes. So the narrative should highlight confidence in all this. Investors can trust the sector. Consumers, they can feel safe. And regulators, they can see the benefits indeed. This is all about momentum. Rescheduling isn't just legalization, it's a step that normalizes cannabis in the eyes of many Americans, many policymakers, and the overall public. And Kyle Sherman has said that these fear campaigns are defensive moves, and I agree with him. Opponents know rescheduling is inevitable, so they're trying to stall momentum. That means the industry has a chance to flip the script. The question is whether leaders will seize the moment or let it slip away, though I do think they are seizing the moment. It's just got to go to a whole new level. So really messaging, it will determine whether reschedule builds confidence or it fuels confusion, and you don't want confusion right now. The industry, as we know it, it needs to be ready for this opportunity. So in closing in all this, the cannabis industry, again, it has the fundamentals. It has the jobs, it has the tax revenue, medical research, consumer demand. What it doesn't have yet is a unified voice. As fear campaigns definitely ramp up, the real test isn't just policy, it's whether the industry can indeed own the narrative. So rescheduling, as I said, it could be announced within the next few months. And if it is, the industry indeed needs to be prepared. So that means testimonials, means high-profile voices, and equally as important, a consistent messaging across every channel. Washington moves when pressure builds, and pressure comes again from visibility. So we'll keep tracking this story closely because when rescheduling does happen, it won't just be a...
And again, they're saying that Trump is wanting to do an executive order Monday. We'll see what happens. They're always, remember Biden was going to do something about it. He didn't do shit. So. Oh boy. He is. All right, we'll go back to the first few times we live streamed, and we'll give credit to the this guy because I know Renee's been missing him big time. So let's.
David Bowie. And maybe I don't pick the best songs to do, but it's just. In the twilight of dusk, the day slips tonight. From the tall trees, the asshole emerges. The asshole circles up on high. It spins oh so bold. I don't know why. Wings so loud, like a death shroud.
All right, that was enough of that. How funny. $5, he'll sing you a song, man. Just go throw $5 to do. He'll sing you a tune. He probably makes his rent off that shit though. I ain't gonna lie. He actually, from when I live streamed him and I could see at the bottom, I could see a little bit bigger than what y'all could see when I put it on the screen. He gets 6, 7, 8, 10 people sometimes lined up at $5 a piece. He just does this stupid little song and gets to $5. The song is 4 minutes long, average. Usually probably 3. I mean, that's $40 in about 30 minutes. So he is a character. Yeah, I guess the Brown thing, it's kind of. They figured it out. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm going to family reunion tomorrow. I got to what's a family reunion / Christmas get together. But I'm gonna go there, and then I gotta come home. When I get back home, I've got to go drop a puppy off. So, and then I'll wrap up my. Hopefully, I'll be home and settled in by about 7:30, maybe a little bit earlier. It's gonna be a busy day. Oh hell, they're playing the original Superman on YouTube. And he just caught the helicopter. That was good for back in the day, man. I ain't gonna lie. Tommy's in Portland. Ain't nothing going on there. I know it's fixing to get cold as hell down here. 25 Monday. I got my firewood ready. I'm ready for it. Now, someone said that that Mary girl moved. Was it Mary? I think it's a blonde-headed chick on Timcast. So she just up and said, "I'm out of here, huh?" I never had a problem with her. I thought she was wow. I mean, every time I saw her, she made sense. She seemed pretty level-headed, articulate. I tell you who really surprised me that seems to be doing well. I don't have nothing against the guy, but he's hired or he has a few people that were on our own. That doctor, well, I think he's a PhD, but Turley, Turley, I think is his name. But hmm. Yeah, Tennessee's real popular like Texas is. A lot of people are moving to Tennessee to the Nashville area. Texas is getting flooded down by Austin, San Antonio. I mean, lots of people moving to Texas. See if we're even. This is always cute to look at for a little bit. Try to find something even better. So freaking cool how they do that, man. Just looking to see if we're even showing up on the. We hadn't got much traffic through here at all. Not even curiosity traffic. People live right now, they're playing games and thing going on like that. Let's see. YouTube has changed on their subscriptions as far as what it shows up on the side. I do not like it. There it is. There's what I'm used to. Okay, I had a button clicked. I'm gonna look at Inverted World and see if there's anything posted in the past. So I hadn't looked today. Okay, here's Tim Cat. There it is. No, there is a new poll on Tales from the Inverted World. Does AI deserve Person of the Year? I'm gonna take the poll. And other than that, now there's no update since yesterday, other than the poll. I'm glad I looked up. Yeah, we only got 15 through here. That's crazy. Anyway, what else you guys want to talk about? Look up. I think Renee, she's either busy or we got ditched. I don't know. It says 5 total. Yeah, usually we get some traffic through here, but really not even a lot of traffic. Let me just change something real quick, see if that does. So we're probably not gonna do call-ins tonight. Just change it. If we do, we change it back. But make a little adjustment here. That's about really all I can do on that. We got David, you here? Yeah, it might be on in the background. I said we just hadn't got a lot of traffic though. I don't know. But again, it's early. It's only 9 o'clock at night. So all the stuff it's people normally watch on the weekends, it's what they're watching. We should have to just slowly build. I guess it'll be a slow grunge. Or slow grind, whatever they call it. Let's see. Ooh, cooking. Yeah, I'm gonna end up heating me up another piece of pizza before I go to bed, I'm sure. Because it sure was good. I was instructed to go to town today and get Domino's about 5 o'clock. So I did. And it was delicious. And actually, it's crazy. It's cheaper to go get Domino's than it is to go to the store, buy the stuff to fix it. With the app and the coupon things I have, whatever. Pisses me off to go to IHOP and get served breakfast, which is very cheap and very simple. And two people walk out with a bill and it's $45. That's some horse shit. I'm going to category and move this back, so we'll see if we get any traffic. Yeah, the shit is good, man. I'll be honest. I got the pizza. There's all the different meats on it and all that. It was delicious. Oh no, not a 1 hour. No, it ain't worth that. I'll tell you what, if I go to town at say 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll pick up a couple pizzas for at night and I'll take them home and just put them in the microwave for like 30 seconds, knock, the chill off or whatever. And to me, they're just as good. But I like that crushed red pepper on it, where it's good and hot. Oh man, that's just good. Makes you want to eat a piece. But yeah. So we did tonight and I spent $21 and she got a pasta bowl. She got one of them pasta bowl marinaras. We got a medium pizza. And then when I went to check out, it said you can get however many Parmesan balls or whatever for $2.99. So I got those. So basically for $21, everybody ate, was full, happy, and enjoyed it. So yeah, I tell you what, when Pizza Hut changed their cheese, I couldn't eat their pizza no more. I ate there 3 times in a row. People didn't eat there. They'd order pizza from Pizza Hut. And 3 times in a row that I ate a piece, it made me sick. So I don't even get Pizza Hut no more. Not to mention the price. They got ridiculous. I guess they thought that shit's made of gold. So I hadn't boycotted them or nothing, but I just don't go there no more. And somebody else that makes a damn good pizza now is Little Caesars. Little Caesars and Domino's both make good pizza. Papa John's. I love Papa John's. There's just not one real close to me. The other two are close. I live out in the country, so we don't get to do the DoorDash delivery people. I mean, I guess we could, but hell, I'd feel like I need to tip them like $30 if I did, because that's a long way. Yeah, we get the like I've stopped in there before. I don't usually get Little Caesars. Usually I do Domino's, but there's this one gas station, truck stop, whatever. They have a Little Caesars on the side of it. What I like is when I go get the kids from school or something, if I wanted to pop in and get something real quick, they have pre-made pizzas. Like they have a double pepperoni. They'll have a couple of those made in the heater or in the warmer. They'll have a couple of regular, and they're cheap, so I can go by there and they're already made. They're ready to go. The kids love it. So I know I'm a lazy bastard, but oh well. At least I can admit it. It's hard to, kids are hard to cook for. They don't like this, they don't like that. And I have an autistic child, so he's even, he's very picky about what he'll eat. So one of the things he will eat, pizza. So, but now he'll pick the pepperonis off, but he'll eat the cheese and the other stuff. And sometimes he'll pick the pepperonis off, eat the pizza, and then he eat the pepperonis. You just never know. I bulk, man, and they make it so fast. I mean, it's set up. I don't know if you've ever seen the Domino's. They have one big oven. They make the pizzas, they make the bowls, whatever at the line, and then they just throw it in that oven. And it's a chain belt. And it takes like 12 minutes to run through. When it gets on the other side, it's done. Yeah, and do a lot of volume, sheer volume. Just like McDonald's, just volume. I mean, looking at a franchise one time, all your dough and everything comes in. It gets shipped in. It gets made and shipped in. They don't make the dough at the store or anything like that. So it comes in daily or every 2 days and put in the freezer, fridge, whatever. And then you go back there and get a rack, and it's a ball about that big around. And then you either roll it out and you make the little, the the dough they use to make the Parmesan bites, whatever you call them. And then they used to make the cinnamon twists, but now they just do the cinnamon balls. Parmesan are just buttered and rolled in Parmesan, thrown through the oven, just like a pizza. The cinnamon things, same way. They're rolled up, rolled in a little butter, sugar, cinnamon, thrown same oven. And all of it comes out on the other side, and it's one big orders together at a time. You just mass produce that shit. Props to them, man. I mean, they're good at it. I just don't like the way McDonald's does their meat and their damn nuggets. That's gross, especially the nuggets. There's 4 different shapes of nuggets, and I can't remember the name. One of them's the J, the T, the whatever. There's 4 shapes. So out of any box you get anywhere in the United States, or the world, there are 4 shapes of nuggets. And it's all done on purpose. Fireplace is awfully hot. Yeah, I can. I don't mind their breakfast so much now. Man, Their bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits are to die. I love that place. But and their eggs aren't, I mean, they're not traditional. They come in a box. You pour like an old milk carton used to be. And they're pour them in a rack. It makes like, I think it's 8 at a time, little squares. But I'd much rather eat McDonald's breakfast than I had their uh their dinner or lunch. And like a McRib, that's the McRib is basically just like a nugget. It's just pressed. They all look the same. But I had one of those about what 6 months ago, 3 months ago. It was good. Shouldn't have got it, but I did. And this new internet seems to be working like a charm. Thank God. It's nice to have a reliable connection. Wow. Yeah, I pretty much got to where everything now, you pretty much try and use a mobile app. I get so many coupons from Domino's. Like today, it was like $6.99 per thing. So I got the medium pizza for $6.99. I got the Italian marinara noodles, whatever, $6.99. And then I added the Parmesan bites on for $2.99 at the very end. So yeah, let's operate. No more buffering, I hope. Now I just need to get this resolution thing worked out a little bit. And I gotta get the video tweaked because it's not. I looked on the TV earlier. It's still a little. It's not as crisp. Like what I'm looking at on my laptop right now is crisp as a. I mean, it is. It's perfect. But if I flip the TV on and put it on there as a guest or something and look at the stream, it's not as crisp as my laptop. If that makes sense. Now, I don't know if that's because the way the stream's going out because my dumbass, or if it is because of the data. It should not be a data issue anymore. And there was one critical setting that I found that really made a huge difference. It was on the advanced. It was automatically remixed to MP4. That wasn't clicked under the recording. Because I remember after I adjusted that, everything started working a lot better. And now I have the encoder preset. I have it set at P6, which is slower, better quality. I have many choices. I can do P1, which is fastest, slowest quality, or I could do a P7, which is the slowest, best quality. Right now I have it on 7, or 6, which is, hell, I thought on 7 just to see, might as well. I don't know if it'll matter. Let's see what it does. Okay. I just know when me and Synchrotron have talked, he said encoding was that's a major issue with these streams. It's processing. I guess it's just, to me, I'm thinking it processes everything and sends it out. And it's got to do it within a certain, I guess, frame rate, certain amount of time. I don't know. A lot of it's above my head. Zip Chat, AI chatbot for e-commerce. Huh. Just looking to see what's going on out there. Apple Vision Pro just turned into a real life Stargate. I haven't seen that. So I don't know what that's about. Oh, I understand. Okay, Candace is, and I don't want to really talk with her, but it says Candace Owen claps back at Tim Pool and Glenn Beck over Charlie Kirk now. Beck has an audience. I mean, Beck's right up there where she is. She might pick on little Tim Pool. She better leave him alone because he does have a following. Hadn't seen that. All right, well, we're. I don't know what she said. 10 hours ago. No, I missed it. So might as well look at it. Because you know it's going to be on everything Monday. Oops. All right, here is Candace Owens. Y'all know who she is. And evidently, she's got some beef.
Of course, I was shocked by Bibi Netanyahu coming out right away and saying I didn't kill him. Like that totally makes you look not guilty. I don't know if you felt, Jimmy, that right after Charlie died, did you think I better get on the air and say I didn't kill him? Like nobody felt the need to do that, but Bibi Netanyahu did. And once that happened, I realized that it was going to be a fight against Zionists.
And it's a special live stream because we have the one and only Candace Owens with us. Hi, Candace. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to jump on here to just ask you, have you not made your mandated anti-Candace videos? Because I was realizing that your show wasn't doing that. So I just wanted to see what was going wrong. You know, I didn't want to send people over to see what was happening on the show since every other commentator in the world has done some anti-Candace content. So I'm here to help you do that.
Well, yeah, I mean.
And by the way, I am not doing any officially. This is not anti-Candace. I'm not anti anybody. I'm just watching these people act stupid.
We have a couple in the can. I'm just waiting for the go ahead from Benjamin Netanyahu. I haven't gotten it yet, and I'm waiting for at least one $7,000 check. I haven't gotten that either. So, but when that happens, believe me, you're going right under the bus. And,
okay, great. I wanted to make sure
because you are a scumbag and
demonic, evil, scumbag.
I guess my first question would be, why don't you care about the midterms? Wait, no.
You cannot make it up. You cannot make up the commentary. Tim Pool was just really something. It's like, why are Republicans focused on public executions of Republicans? I don't understand. Don't you understand that your job is to vote? and to make sure the same people that are engaged in covering up and selling you absolute crap about what happened on that day still need to be in office?
Well, let me ask you, I've heard you mention the Mockingbird media, and it is kind of amazing. Like during COVID, I did not expect the people who I knew who were lefties, who their entire life called Big Pharma a criminal, murderous cartel organization, the people who never trusted the government, who knew that the FDA and the CDC were regulatory captured, and that completely flipped during COVID and became mouthpieces for Big Pharma and the establishment and murderous people like Dr. Fauci, and especially what he did during the AIDS crisis. Nobody even knows about that. But so how shocked were you? Did you see this coming? How shocked were you that there would be this significant amount of conservative media who would completely flip on their ethos and now start to believe the FBI and their BS story and repeat establishment talking points and try to shame someone who's asking legitimate, logical questions? I had that happen to me during Seth Rich. The same thing happened with Seth Rich. They use the sympathies of the family. They're like, oh, it's hurting the family if you even talk about this. I'm like, they showed John F. Kennedy's head getting blown off for 60 years in a row on television. Nobody ever said, what about his family? Nobody ever said. So, and anyway, so I guess there's like 3 questions in there, but my first one is, how did you see this coming, that there would be this Mockingbird conservative media, and how shocked were you?
I think I was shocked first and foremost because Charlie was publicly executed, right? And so
Is Mockingbird, I don't want to play this straight through, but is that a, okay, I will. Is that a Hunger Games reference? Mockingjay, Mockingbird. I'll let this play while no, yeah, I paused it.
typically when I'm doing commentary, it's about someone I don't know, right? I'm removed from the subject, so I don't have to go through a
Yeah, I had
personal
it down.
grieving process.
I'm looking at the
So there were
Iverson.
so many layers of my shock at the actual event, then the shock at how swiftly the people closest to him lied about where he was at in his perspective. So I couldn't even process why that was happening, while also trying to understand suddenly why Susie Wiles is eulogizing him. Like, what's this about? I don't understand. And so for me to come back and be able to process all of this, I had to go away, and I just went up to the mountains and just spent time with no tech and just kind of breathed in some air and was like, okay, this is really happening. This is going to be a fight like never before. And I was shocked at the people who pretended to be his friends. I mean, it was like upside down land. It was people that tried to stop Charlie from rising, suddenly stepping in and saying, this is what we have to do. This is what his legacy is. And so I haven't stopped being shocked, as every week there's a new, and the instant fight, the instant war that.
I'm going to try and find, I want to hear what she says about Glenn Beck. And then I'm going to go to Iverson.
Apologize him. I, said, oh, last message talking about Catholicism. Suddenly there was I think I realized that was,
the Cubans wanted him dead, and who actually made it happen. There were 15 or 20 things that happened that day that were inexcusable. They changed the parade route. He rode in an open-air convertible. LBJ decided not to ride alongside of him. The vehicle slowed down right when it went by the Texas School Book Depository. A lot there, right? And then, again, I think that all of us are smarter to believe that it was simply Lee Harvey Oswald. The more important question is not, oh, who did it? We have to first acknowledge it, that more than one person did it. Yeah. Once we acknowledge that more than one person did it, then we can expose our government to have lied to us about the JFK assassination, which then I think will sober a lot of us about trusting the government in the future.
the conversation, which was so elitist, where Glenn is saying basically people, you don't know where it's going to lead, but of course you have to go through the process of asking. When I poked holes in the George Floyd story, and I was like, hey guys, did you even know this about George Floyd? There's more information here. Those people who supported me during the George Floyd thing would have said this. Would have never said, well, there's no evidence. Just because he, did fentanyl his entire life doesn't mean that this has anything to do with this day. It's like, no, these are actually all relevant to building a narrative and to asking questions. Like, this is what it means to embark on scientific investigation. You don't know where it's going to lead, but of course you have to go through the process of asking questions. Well, no, the BLM side criminalized asking questions. If I said, well, maybe, and I did, where's all this money going to? Oh, how dare you? George Floyd died. How dare you're ruining Kirk yesterday or the day before. And to hear this part of the conversation, which was so elitist, where Glenn is saying basically people don't understand how the law works. How are you not aware of yourself and how much you sound like Dr. Fauci? Like, trust the experts. Okay, I'm gonna just like put a thing on my sign and just say, how they did thank you, Dr. Fauci, the signs on the lawn. Thank you, Dr. Patel, Dr. Prakash Patel. We don't understand.
From morning routines to weekend sidelines, when the temperature drops.
I thought there'd be more about back on there, but evidently he didn't say a whole lot. We'll get to this commercial. This is Kim Iverson from 10 hours ago.
Miami-Dade went blue for the first time in nearly 30 years. I think this is a big warning sign for the MAGA crowd. Miami-Dade elected yesterday a Democrat mayor for the first time. Eileen Higgins won the election. This is the first time in 28 years that a Democrat has won. This is in Trump land, Trump territory. Florida has now Miami gone blue since in 28 years. This is shocking. Now, you might ask, is Eileen a Zionist? And the answer is, I don't really know. Actually, her opponent certainly expressed his view, his support for Israel. He certainly did. He was definitely the Trump candidate. Trump had endorsed her opponent. He had very much made statements that were pro-Israel and in line with U.S. foreign policy in regards to Israel. Now, Eileen has also made statements that in the past that have been pro alignment with Israel. And also October 7th, she made a statement about how she supported Israel and aligned with Israel. She kind of she's done the normal, I would say the normal narrative stuff that Democrats have done, like in the past saying, yeah, I stand with Israel. This is before 2023. And then of course, October 7th saying something. But since then, she really hasn't said anything. And she is focused 100% on local and domestic policies. Now, her opponent also focused mostly on domestic policies and didn't say a lot. But when you compare them head to head, he definitely looked a little bit more like the pro-Israel candidate. So that is just something to say. Not that I think that swayed this election necessarily. It may or may not have. I think there's a lot more that people are upset about in the Republican voting base than just Israel. I don't think they're turning out to vote. And I think this should be a massive warning sign once again for Republicans that you're going to get clobbered. I mean, destroyed in the midterms. Now, look at this tweet.
Now, if that's true, turn my volume back up. If that's true, that means Trump has 1 year to get something done. Because if they flip things in the House or the Senate or something, then he's done changing stuff. Executive orders maybe here and there, which can be reversed day one of whoever wins next. So it's kind of scary. Everybody says, oh, he's got 3 years. No, he don't. If they flip midterms, he's got a year. Anyway, we'll keep going with this lady. She seems very intelligent.
This is from Ann Vandersteel, and she's an information war correspondent. And she says, folks, mark my words. If Trump doesn't fire Bondi, Wiles, Bongino, and Patel right now, 2026 is going to be an absolute bloodbath for Republicans. Yesterday, Miami-Dade went blue for the first time in over 30 years, 30 freaking years. And no, she didn't win on affordability. Demographics shifted, turnout cratered, and the Florida GOP sat on their hands like it was 2016 on repeat. I'll tell you exactly why they sat on their hands. But then she says, where was the ground game? Where was the door knocker? Where were the door knockers? Where was the MAGA fire? Dead, put out. Nowhere. It's been buried under rubble in Gaza. You can go find it there. Nowhere, because the people Trump put in charge are anti-MAGA squishes playing prevent defense in a knife fight. Bondi's too busy doing her makeup for Fox News hits. Wiles is playing keep away with Trump and his MAGA constituents. Bongino's apologizing and explaining on podcasts instead of arresting Democrats. And Nome is still doing threatening ads while Miami turns into Caracas. Trump enthusiasm is waning bigly here in the Sunshine State, and the RPOF is openly hostile to the base that carried him across the finish line twice. They didn't lift a finger for the America First candidates. They sabotaged them. They let Miami fall without firing a shot. Mr. President, you want a historic mandate. Don't piss it away on disloyal staffers who think drain the swamp was just a bumper sticker. Fire the 4 of them today and bring in real fighters who actually knock doors, not just choke microphones. The base is watching, Florida is watching, and we're all done with excuses, she says. Yeah, well, you got a bigger fish to fry, and unfortunately, it's not really Dan Bongino, although he's, not really, what is he doing in his position as deputy FBI director? Not really. Like she said, he's just making a lot of excuses, but people wanted some things from Dan that they didn't get, like, arrests and truth and exposure. Same thing for Kash Patel. It's out there telling us, oh, I'm going to give you those Epstein files. I'm giving you those Epstein files. Where are those Epstein files? Oh, you're finally now giving it to us after putting up a major fight and basically saying there are no Epstein files. It's all a hoax. You sat there and just, said what your boss wanted you to say. And your boss was Trump. And he told you to say it was a Democrat hoax. So you fell in line with that after promising us all the Epstein files. Pam Bondi wants also Epstein files, total and complete failure. Also now weaponizing the DOJ against the American people. They're creating an enemies list against Americans, domestic terrorists. They're claiming they're making a domestic terrorist enemies list. Sounds a lot like what Joe Biden was doing. Nothing has changed. She didn't go after.
I think that's a very key point. Nothing's changed. It doesn't seem. Okay, eggs went down. That's the one thing that changed. They're not getting illegals out near quick enough. Nothing's changed. The deep state is still there. They're hauling out, what is it, 10,000? I don't even know if it's 10,000 nowadays. They come in by the millions, and they don't have enough years to get them all out. No, I don't. I'm really starting to wonder that. I really am. I'm just waiting for them to start bringing up amnesty. Well, let's just give the ones that are here amnesty. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Any of the people that, when Trump says, I'm going to put a lot of people in jail, not that I necessarily support or agree with some of the tactics that they want to take. I think it turns into a political nightmare. But nonetheless, the base wanted it and you're not delivering it. They voted for you and you're not doing it. So you've got these betrayals. People are feeling betrayed. But the ultimate betrayal came from Donald Trump himself, because he's been the one directing them and telling them the Epstein files are a hoax. He's the one that's attacking true MAGA loyalists like Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. So we've got, no Epstein client list because Trump has said it's a hoax. We've got, he's just going around saying it's just a hoax. It's a hoax. He's attacking his own MAGA allies, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's punching right rather than punching left or punching up, which is what everybody wanted because they wanted him to drain the swamp. That's punch up, get everybody out of there. He's not doing any of that. Instead, he's just punching to his right, which is really bizarre. He's partnered completely with Palantir and the surveillance state. He has now basically sold us all out for the World Economic Forum globalist, you will own nothing and be happy agenda. He has ushered it in at warp speed. People see that. People don't like it. We've got more surveillance, basically a Patriot Act expansion. We've got intelligence agency overreach. We've got Palantir in all of our business, seeing everything. I mean, these are the expansion of centralized databases, cooperating with big tech and AI, a Chinese-style public safety surveillance model. I mean, these are all the things that people are sitting here watching and saying, we didn't vote for this. He said he promised to stop censorship, that he would break up big tech.
They care more about building power plants for data centers than they do providing heat for Americans. They don't give a shit about the cost of power and what we pay for it. They got to get power to them data centers. That's real. Same thing with the water.
He didn't do any of that. He hasn't done any of that. He's instead ushered in more censorship, saying we're cracking down on college campuses. We're shutting down free speech. You're not allowed to protest against Israel, you anti-Semite. He's clearly doing the bidding of Israel. Russia, what's going on there? Oh, nothing. Remember when he said he was going to end that day one? That didn't happen. So we're not getting any progress on the Russia-Ukraine front. Instead, we're still sending tons of money to Ukraine. Oh, and on top of that, he decided to bomb Iran, nearly putting us into a war. He's going after Venezuela, affecting a regime change. And we're going to have a regime change in Venezuela. I thought we were going to be against that. Where's Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, on that? And threatening to take Canada, buy Greenland, and rebuild Gaza. How does any of that have to do with making America great again? Well, it doesn't. So instead of draining the swamp, this guy hired the swamp and made a...
All right, real quick, because I already had that ready to pull up. Here is what Tulsi Gabbard had to say. Today, and then we'll continue her, but here's what Gabbard said.
Come on.
They're relying on us. We're relying on you. Please donate now.
Commercials are done. This is Tulsi Gabbard.
Suspected terrorist entered the United States during the Biden administration.
So far, NCTC has identified around 18,000 known and suspected terrorists that the Biden administration let come into our country. These are individuals who, under normal circumstances, would never be allowed.
So why did Biden let this happen? Let's bring in the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director Gabbard, I want to start, and there's a reason I'm going to ask you this question. With what your job is every day at the DNI, I know from my experience in the West Wing, you oversee 18 intelligence entities. Just explain to our viewers what the job is of DNI.
Thank you very much, Kaylee. Well, fundamentally, our job is to make sure that we have intelligence that is objective, that is relevant and timely in its delivery to its various customers, those who are making very important decisions related to the policies, the safety, security, and freedom of our country, foremost amongst them, the President of the United States. When we look at the threats that we face, obviously, we are very focused on making sure that the American people are safe and secure. The president has talked about this over and over and over again. And the reason why President Trump focused on this throughout his campaign and throughout his time here now in his second term in the White House is because he recognized how devastating and dangerous President Biden's open border policies were, how they did not, Biden administration did not take their vetting responsibilities seriously, and ultimately did not at all prioritize making sure that our country, our communities, our families here in the United States could have confidence that they live in a safe, secure place. And so we are working doggedly to carry out President Trump's promise to make America safe again and undo the very devastating and dangerous damage that the Biden administration left behind.
Glad you mentioned the Biden administration. Let's look at Avril Haines. This is your predecessor. And I just was shocked. I went back and I looked, how long was Avril Haines holding the post that you're holding?
Okay, I mean, that's all nice and good, but I really don't care. We all know what the Biden people did. What are you doing? Or what are they doing? Not a whole hell of a lot. I need to finish watching her. I know what she's going to say before she says it. So, kind of disheartening. What was there? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of disheartening. I mean, it's falling apart right in front of their face. The deep state is in control. And probably always will be. I think he wants to do a lot of good. I think they have just tied his hands so bad. And they probably don't even tell him the damn truth. What's going on in California? Let's just see real quick. Well, it is a bunch of police cars. I don't know what's going on. There's no real audio. I figured I'll give it a little bit of time to somebody picks it up and finds out what's going on there. Ooh, Northwest Ohio is getting some snow, boy. I'm so glad we don't deal with that crap down here. I mean, we do like 2 weeks out of the year, maybe. We don't get snow. We usually get ice. And you can't do crap on ice. Wow, this happened a day ago. They threw acid on a woman in Georgia on her face. What the hell? Report over 2.5 million illegal immigrants have left the U.S. Do you want to see it? Laura Ingham switched her opinion on the good herb. That's kind of weird. Makes you wonder where the money's flowing with these people. Oh, really? Yeah, the one, I still got it up. I just did not that one. Here's what the rest she had to say on this one. According to this, it was, I believe it was 10 hours ago. That may have been when this posted, though. That may not have been when the actual interview took place.
Mockery of everybody. He's got now intelligence insiders, neocon advisors. He's praising Lindsey Graham and spitting on Thomas Massey. He's got Wall Street donors and establishment figures surrounding him, and he just sounds like nothing different but the establishment. They're, in fact, even praising him and saying he's the Ronald Reagan of our era. Well, Ronald Reagan was establishment. So that's the establishment's been around for a long time. We wanted somebody who was actually going to drain the swamp. Ronald Reagan was even in office, really, because he was like a Joe Biden.
That's what we just said.
We've had no reforms, no real firings, no prosecutions, not even a serious, the immigration numbers are low. People are wanting to see more deportations. They weren't getting those deportations. Again, it's not, I certainly don't agree with his tactics on deportation. I think there's definitely, what we all expected him to do versus what he's doing. Those two things aren't lining up. His foreign policy is still obviously run by Israel. He is walked on a leash by Netanyahu. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And then there's the economy. He's saying that we are in the best economy right now and everything's great. And inflation is rising. Inflation has not really gone down. People are not feeling inflation going down now that the Fed has done they're doing another rate cut 3 times in 1 year. That's a signal things aren't so great. And that means inflation is going to go back up. And that is, people are feeling the high prices. They're
Tell me the other name of it and I'll look it up. But either way, I agree with what she's saying. Hell, I just said it. I mean, she's telling the truth. Let's see. That one's called MAGA is Dead. There's one called Trump's polls collapse with young voters. And then there's some shorts. Just gotta let me know which one you're talking about. You gotta let me know which one you're talking about. That one was called MAGA is Dead. So I don't know. The other one's called Trump's polls collapse with young voters. She's got 729,000 subscribers. She's pretty damn popular. I will subscribe to her. Just keep an eye on what she says because I agree with her. Oh, here's a creepy one. Yes, the CIA actually wiped people's minds. Wow. Temple tried to humiliate me. That one. Okay. Ah, okay. Found it. Give me 1 second. I'll have it up for you. Huh. Wow. And of course, we get to watch the commercial real quick.
Well, there's a bit of drama between myself and Tim Pool going on right now, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to address it or if I was going to ignore it. Sometimes with things like this, you're told, oh, just ignore it. Don't give it any airtime. Just act like it doesn't exist. It'll just go away. And I'm not really bothered by it, so might as well talk about it and air the drama that has been going on publicly and also a little bit behind the scenes. But essentially what has happened is that Tim Pool has attempted to humiliate me and defame me. Now, he's backpedaled on it a little bit. He did delete the offensive tweet that he put out there. He's deleted it. He, on his show, apparently said it was a bit of a joke. At least that was before I saw what the tweet was itself. And I'm going to address exactly what was said, what he deleted, why it was defamatory in an attempt at humiliating me, why it's different from free speech, why it's actually defamatory per se, what the difference is, why it matters. Why does somebody like me, somebody who supports free speech, say that, well, he's crossed the line this time? And what exactly is going on with the drama? Because some of it has been a bit public, but I want to start off with, this is the tweet that I first saw. Now, over the last few days, I have been criticizing Tim Pool and his meltdown over Candace Owens. I mean, he's just been having a total meltdown. And I shared a story about something that had happened while I was in his studio. I've been on his show twice. And the first time I was there was a story, which I'll share with you, the clip. And I talked about that. Now, Tim reacted. This guy, Furkan Gozukara, he's a Turkish influencer, I suppose. Let's go ahead and put up that tweet. He says, Kim exposes a humiliating moment. Tim Pool's staff admitted they are forced to be pro-Israel to please their donors. She reveals how so-called independent creators are actually paid establishment lackeys pushing Zionist narratives for cash. And his tweet's not exactly true. That is not what I said, and I'll play for you the clip. But Tim Pool reacted to this tweet that was put out there by Furkan, and he says, we don't have donors, you effing invalid. We are a for-profit corporation. We don't take grants and have no investors. Israel can suck my dick. I don't give an F, he says. Let's go ahead and play that clip. Now, this clip is, the context of it is that I'm saying that when I had thought, because Candace Owens says she thinks that Tim Pool might be going through some financial problems. And then I'd said, well, maybe because I thought he was part of the Daily Wire ecosphere, maybe not on their platform, maybe not directly, hey, I'm a Daily Wire show, but I was under the impression, and I still am, that he is somehow affiliated with the Daily Wire. And I had my reasons for as to why I thought that, why I've suspected that, and this is what I'm talking about in this clip. Watch. That was my suspicion, only because there were some weird moments when I was over there that when I mentioned something about Israel, Palestine, and his staff, not him, but his staff, he wasn't in the room, was very quick to be like, we're pro-Israel. We're really pro-Israel. We're pro-Israel. And I just thought that was such an odd reaction. And it was clearly coming from a place of we're owned and we're being told to say this. I mean, that's what it wasn't like a natural point in the conversation. It was like, oh, no, we're pro-Israel. We're pro-Israel. Like they've been told you must be pro-Israel. That's what it felt like to me. And that's just, going on my feelings. And then there have been some other little things like some Daily Wire paraphernalia, like mugs and things that have been around there. So I thought maybe that's what was, that they were somewhat funded or part of the Daily Wire ecosystem, even though not officially on their site as one of their shows, but part of their ecosystem, which other platforms have done that before. I believe the Young Turks has done some deals kind of like that, where they're a part of it, you're a part of them, but not really. I think that even MSNBC has done that with some shows online that seem independent, but they're actually affiliated with MSNBC. So, that has been my thinking. But with Daily Wire having some struggles, maybe they don't have the money for Tim, and maybe Tim is experiencing some financial trouble, and now he wants to try to gin up some scare tactics. And the way to do it, to get people intrigued, do you think, or to get people on your side and to support you, is to be like, look, my life is under threat, and it's all Candace Owens' fault, and she's causing me death threats and shootings at my house and people being beat up, and it's all her fault. It's all her fault. It's all her fault. I just don't know if anybody's really actually buying it. I don't know if this strategy is actually working, but it's an interesting one, to claim harassment and threats. But I think the only way you can actually get away with saying and have it be even remotely believable of saying, I'm being threatened and targeted, is if you're speaking up against the establishment. And Tim doesn't anymore. He falls right in line. he goes to those Chatham House rules meetings with Netanyahu, and he goes and he falls in line with this.
All right, I want to pause in a minute. What do y'all think about what she's saying? I mean, you guys watch the show. Have y'all noticed a change over the past, say, 2 years? I have, but I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying there's definitely been a shift, but he's also getting older. He has a family, and that also changes your perspective in life. You see things a little different. It's called growing up. What's the saying? If you're 18 and you're not a Democrat, you have no heart, and then if you're 40 and you're not Republican, you have no brain. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it, being pro-Israel is one thing. It's why though. Like my parents, they're pro-Israel, but their reason is purely biblical. They believe, what the Bible says. Jesus was a Jew. The Jews were God's chosen people, according to the Bible. And that's why a lot of people fall in line with that. But I don't know. I think it's an excuse too. I don't know. Maybe he just wants to cash out and go be a poker player. No, I'm saying a lot of people, it is though. To them, it is. And a lot of people that don't pay attention, that just they have an opinion, but they don't really know why, and it's one little fact. That's why they base their whole opinion on that. But I don't remember ever seeing her on Tim's show, to be honest. But I've never been a super regular on his shit, watching on his show either. Fairly regular, but there were a couple of years I didn't watch hardly at all. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I'm gonna keep playing her. Yeah, I'll have to look up the Schofield Bible. I always used the King James version.
Israel, and he falls in line with the establishment narrative. And so, people sell out for money all the time when they need money, and they go to the establishment narrative in order to do it. And, so it's not really viable to sit there and be like, oh no, I'm under threat, when you're like totally the establishment lackey. You know, that stubborn ache that never quite goes away, the one that ice, heat, or pain pills barely touch? What if you could target it at the cellular level in or whatever? But anyway, I started seeing these strange things. So I saw that tweet from Tim Pool, and I just wrote, oh, Timmy's having a meltdown. And let me go ahead and pour myself a glass of his Zio tears because he's done this before. And he melts down all the time. But I started getting these other strange messages that I was seeing on my Twitter account. And it was these random pop-up messages that would say, Kim, I heard you stink. Or is it true, Kim, you smell bad? And I was like, where, this, when you see the first one, you think, okay, that's weird.
Is that who the smell bad person was they were talking about, asking, does she stink? Okay, I didn't put those two together. So this is that lady.
And then I saw another one, and then I saw another one, and then I saw another one. And I thought, okay, where is this coming from? Like somebody must have said something. And then I finally see this is the tweet that Tim had put out there that he has deleted because he knows it's actually, he probably got a phone call from his attorney that said, actually, Tim, that is crossing the line into defamation, and you probably shouldn't say something like that. And he should definitely educate himself. But this is the tweet that he says. He said, when Kim Iverson came to our studio, she smelled like she didn't wipe. We got the feeling that she intentionally doesn't. It was weird. It's why we haven't had her back on. We couldn't stand the smell. Okay. First of all, his statement is categorically and provably false, demonstrably false. And this is why I had actually, I can prove that this is false. You know, people say, oh, how do you prove smell? Well, you don't need to prove smell. What I can prove, I mean, you know, if you think I stink, maybe I think you stink. I mean, that's subjective, right? So somebody can think somebody smells great and somebody thinks somebody stinks, right? I totally understand that. But where this is obviously demonstrably false is that I've been on Tim's show twice and I've been invited on a third time. My first appearance, this is a message from Tim Pool in March. This is February 23rd of 2021. Tim Pool messaged me saying, hey, Kim, I would love to have you on my show. We can cover all the travel and accommodation. And I was like, great. Okay. That was February and March of 2021. Then actually I was on a show another time. I was on in March of 2022. So I was on pretty much almost exactly a year apart, 2021 and 2022. Let's show those clips we have of me in studio. So that's from March of 2021. And then here's March of 2022. Clearly not stinky enough, you know, because they invited me back. And then in the message that we just showed, let's go back to that. Tim Pool writes me personally again in August of 2024. So this is just last year. He writes me and he says, do you got time to come back on the show? And I said, sure, would love to. His team then emailed me in August and again in September. They tried multiple times to get me on. We could not, scheduling, I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the time to be there. So I didn't go. So I declined the invitation on my own, not because of some made up junior high fantasy that Tim Pool has about his, you know, about whatever. So, so it's demonstrably false. That part's important because I'm going to explain, you know, why this is problematic. And I didn't, you know, look, I'm not a snowflake. When I saw this, I thought, oh, okay, you know, that's gross. I mean, it's just a gross thing to say about somebody. But, you know, and not only that, but come on, you know, I am Vietnamese. So we're like, we use bidets. I mean, you know, if anything, America, I would love everybody in America to adopt the bidet system. It's one of my big criticisms of Western culture. You know, I mean, the French do, which is why Vietnam does, because they were occupied by France for 100 years. But nonetheless, okay, that's just beside the point. So basically, then I had an attorney write to me and say, you know, Kim, this is actually defamatory what he wrote. This is actually defamation per se. And this is not the same as anything else that could be said. So I went to him and I said, hey, you know, you've now crossed the line into defamation per se. And you should, you know, maybe you should like gather receipts. If you're going to make a claim like this about me, saying that everybody on your team thought I was so stinky, you didn't want to have me back when you've had me back. And you've invited me again, which I did not go. You know, maybe before you make statements like that, you should have the stuff to back that up. And Tim then went on and tweeted that Kim Iverson is threatening to sue me for saying she smelled bad. LOL. Right? Okay. And then I wrote in response to this, Tim couldn't handle criticism, so he cooked up a junior high hygiene smear. Classic behavior from short, bald, insecure man who panics when exposed. I warned him privately and he still doubled down. I've got receipts that shred every part of his story, but why waste years in court when he's already torpedoing his own career for free? And those receipts are, yeah, they've had me back on the show numerous times. So apparently they liked my smell, even if it is stinky, which it's not. But if it was, they clearly seemed to enjoy it because they kept inviting me back. Now, apparently he had also made the comment live on his show. And then right after he said it, he said, oh, I'm joking. That's apparent. That's what I'd heard from people that watch his show. They said that he'd said it briefly and then said he was joking. And he did delete that tweet. But, you know, the damage has been done. People have seen it. And not only that, there's a screenshot out there. Of course, I even have it. And so now people are thinking that there is this, that, you know, that I'm stinky because of, you know, and maybe to some people I am. I don't know. Maybe you don't like my perfume totally and completely. You know, that's fair enough. Fair enough. He's known for lying, by the way. Let me just show you this. This is TMZ. TMZ is actually known for doing really good reporting. You know, they do all of the kind of salacious celebrity stuff. And they put here that Tim Pool's claim of shots fired at his house can't be substantiated, cops say. So TMZ must have done their own investigation because that's what they do. They're very good at that. They must have called all the police office, the right places. And they've said that they don't have any record of that. So Tim Pool is not exactly the biggest truth teller on the planet, as we know. Now let's get to the threat of suing him, because I did threaten to sue. Well, I threatened to sue him and potentially, but more it's a threat to get a person to stop saying something. Now, let me explain, because you guys know that I'm a free speech advocate. I don't believe in censorship. I don't believe in speech codes. And I absolutely believe people should be able to criticize public figures harshly, unfairly, even rudely, without the government or the court stepping in every 5 minutes. So let me start with this. What I said and why it's protected, because I said I believe Tim is influenced by pro-Israel donors. That is political commentary. It's opinion. It's analysis. It's me looking at his editorial line, his guests, his behavior, things I've heard them say, and drawing a conclusion. And in America, you're allowed to say things like, that host is bought by Qatar. We've been hearing that a lot lately. That journalist is captured by the CIA, or that pundit is doing Israel's PR. That outlet is owned by Big Pharma. You can be right, you can be wrong, you can even be a little unhinged. It doesn't matter. Those are political accusations about motive and influence, and they live in the most protected zone of speech that we have. Why? Because if you're not allowed to question who's influencing whom in politics and media, then you don't have a real First Amendment. You just have a bunch of people with microphones and you're not allowed to criticize anything. So yes, I can legally say, I think he's bought. I can even say he is bought. You can legally say Kim is bought. That is protected opinion. Now, what he said and why it's different, now, here's what Tim said. He didn't attack my ideas. He didn't attack my politics. He didn't say Kim is wrong or Kim is biased. He told a very specific story. He claimed that I came into his studio smelling disgusting, like I didn't wipe, and that this was the reason they never had me back. That is not a political argument. That is not opinion about my motives. That is not commentary on my analysis. That is a claimed physical event in a specific place, his studio, at a
The thing is, smell is subjective. I've been next to some, like, in line at Six Flags or something, where some old lady's doused herself in perfume. Yeah, it stinks. I'm not saying it smells like shit. I'm just saying it stinks. So that's very subjective. I don't see how you could sue over that. But anyway.
Specific time during my visit about a specific condition of my body and hygiene, and tied to a specific professional consequence, which is we never had her back because of this. And most importantly, it's false, because I was in his studio in March of 2021. I was back again in March of 2022. And then he personally invited me back in August of 2024. And his team followed up and tried to book me again in September of 2024. However, I turned those invites down because of scheduling, not because of some imaginary hygiene scandal that he invented during his spiraling outrage. So we're not talking about opinion. We're talking about a fabricated, humiliating story that is presented as fact about my body that contradicts his own actions and his own booking history. And it's called defamation per se. Now, as much as I love free speech, the law does draw a line, and it's a pretty reasonable one. Defamation per se means certain types of lies are considered so obviously damaging that the law doesn't even make you jump through hoops to prove harm. Like, you don't have to prove you had financial loss or that you had loss of some, of anything, actually. And those categories are generally false statements about someone's health or hygiene, like saying someone has a disease or an STD, or saying someone is physically unclean in a way that makes them socially unacceptable physically or even sexually. So like talking about their sexual history, that is also could be defamation per se. This also stands for businesses. Like, for example, you can't knowingly falsely say a restaurant has cockroaches. You can say this if you saw a cockroach, obviously. You could say this if you think there are, but if you are doing it maliciously with the intent to harm you're retaliating, you have malicious reasons, it is actually defamation per se.
Yeah, I think she's kind of repeating herself now, but yeah, that's she's a smart lady. And I think the smartest thing she said was that Tim is torpedoing his own show. It seems like for his own career, but he could probably come back from it. I didn't know he was bald. I just figured he wore a beanie. I didn't know it was because he was bald or going bald. I really could care less. I care more about what he says, but yeah, it seems so. Like I said, I've watched for off and on for many years, and I got to where I didn't watch for a while because I really wasn't down with the end that much. I mean, he's okay, but if I want to listen to a news show or opinion show, I really don't. Someone like Ian, he's entertaining, but anyway, a lot. I don't think that guy makes sense half the time. Um, I like Phil. I don't think he gets to say what he wants to say all the time. I think they kind of I'm not gonna say they monitor what he says. I don't know. I think he's a little more right leaning than he lets on. But all I can say is this: they're lucky they have a basically 3 week break to let this shit cool down. Yeah, they're gonna have to let things cool down and then decide if they're gonna go on. I don't think it has anything to do with the projectiles being flying through the air. Um, I think he just wants out. I think he's been wanting out for a while, or he wants something different. I don't know. I don't know my business, but something ain't right. It ain't been right for a while. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm sure couldn't watch a meteor shower with a stream like this. We'd never be able to see the damn things. They still got the cops at the California place, but there's over 1,000 people watching, but they're not saying nothing. It's just showing some cop cars in front of a house. Let's see this slide. See what Jimmy Fallon has on that shooter real quick. Let's see.
Gifts for the outdoors and the outdoorsy. Eddie Bauer.
We live for the moment. Whether across the world or right across the table, we
Last room before
the adult passes on the things that make
And Seattle, the city of Seattle, is hosting a gay pride-themed match. But the draw to play in the game is Iran and Egypt. That is a real story. Two countries that criminalize being gay are playing in the pride game. This is like if you let the Westminster Dog Show move to Springfield, Ohio with the Haitian migrants. I'm just saying. Awkward stuff any way you slice it, but nothing will ever be worse than the time the United States played Ethiopia and the final score was the United States 8 and Ethiopia didn't. It is time for last call. Here we go. So, Madison Allworth, you have two huge specials on Fox Nation, a Dollywood Christmas, and you were competing alongside me in the Fox News Great Christmas Showdown, which is the greatest thing in the world. It's streaming on Fox Nation right now. Will there be any time in your schedule for...
Well, I thought he was going to talk about the shooting. I know I said two did, like 8 or 9 critical. And they show a video I saw of a guy with a hoodie or something like that. But you couldn't see their face. They'll find an angle from a Ring camera or something. They'll figure it out. Well, they've already caught him. They're just going to have to prove it now. And the judge, I saw something about the judge. You know, that guy that allegedly killed Charlie Kirk. What, Robinson? He was smirking in the courtroom. And the judge has ordered the cameras to be done a certain way now. So I guess they're going to order them to be at a certain angle so he can't. Maybe it has to be directly behind him or something. I don't know. I just briefly saw it for just a couple of seconds. Huh. Well, I really don't see a whole lot more going on. Which is good. Hope them people survive that got injured. I'm sure it's going to be somebody really jacked up. A bunch of SSRIs and. Okay. Let's look at this. Something about blackouts. And I don't think this guy's the be-all and end-all, but he does have a lot of good points a lot of times. So.
Okay, so we closed the doors to the opportunity that Tony and I shared at the AI Advantage Summit.
Let me go to Alex in New York. Hello, Alex. Alex, are you there?
Hi, Glenn. Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
Sure. So I'm calling in from upstate New York, where we definitely have a situation on our hands here with the solar farms that our governor is pushing very, very hard. They are absolutely using it as a land grab to take our best farmland. And in the case...
Where is Renee? This is right up her alley. She was telling me the other day about the solar farms up there. So yeah.
Of near my farm here, they're trying to put in a solar farm on a protected grassland habitat that New York State already designated as an important habitat, except when big solar comes to town. And we're currently fighting that up here. I meet with a coalition of people across the state, really amazing people who are battling this in every village in upstate New York right now. And we definitely have a situation on our hands. I call it a runaway train.
Yeah, just keep fighting. I don't know how you fight it in New York, but just keep fighting because there are communities around the country that are fighting things like this that are winning. I don't know about New York, but we've got to have our farmland, and it kills me. You know, I talked about this the other day. It absolutely kills me that the people could not have nuclear energy. No way we can have nuclear energy. But the minute big tech needs nuclear energy, they can build them. Build as many as you want. I mean, it's so disgusting. I want to talk.
Now, what did I say a while ago about the energy? They don't care if we freeze to death or how much we got to pay, but they're going to get them data centers going. So yeah, they're going to let them build nuclear. So I basically already said what he said. He's just saying it different.
Talk to you about energy on something else. The solar thing does not work. And as a man who has spent maybe $1 million, $1.5 million on alternative energy for a ranch I have up in the mountains that has no power to it, and over a 10 or 12 year period, I have just poured money into it, and it's a nightmare. It does not work. It doesn't work. You can't run anything of any significance. Running my studio, just my studio alone, has been an absolute nightmare in there. It doesn't work. Okay. Solar and wind, it might be good for a little add-on, if you live in Phoenix, or I don't know, on the sun, but it doesn't work, at least to the scale that we need. But just the other day, do we happen to have the clip from the prediction show where I made a prediction of what was coming next year on energy? Can we play that, please? I think in 2025 was the year, as I said, that we started really understanding AI and what is coming to some degree. And we understood, energy is going to be a problem. I think 2026 is going to be the first year that we see things like Texas having rolling brownouts for a week at a time. I think you're going to start to see the strain on the grid by the end of next year in ways that you would never have expected in the United States. It's just growing exponentially. Okay, I think I said that on Wednesday's show. We had a prediction show of what the biggest stories and what are the predictions. And when I said that, I'm like, at the end of next year. Let me give you this from the Associated Press today. The amount of ERCOT's large load interconnection requests ballooned to more than 230 gigawatts this year, a massive increase. Now, last year, December 2024, ERCOT needed 63 gigawatts. A year later, this December, the load that is required is 230 gigawatts. That's a lot more than they needed to go back to the future. You're going to see the grids are not built for this. More than 70% of the large loads are for the data center. The data centers are just beginning to be built. We don't have the energy. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the Achilles heel of this administration. And believe me, it will only be worse with a Democratic administration. This is going to be the Achilles heel because we can't build these power plants fast enough. And while Donald Trump is fast tracking these nuclear power plants, it's not fast enough because as we build these data centers, what's going to happen is your energy. You're going to start to have rolling brownouts. Also, because of these data centers, you're also going to see the unemployment go up. If you start to have high unemployment, high prices, and rolling brownouts to where you're having a hard time with electricity yourself, but the data centers for these Silicon Valley companies, they're getting your power. I'm telling you, the Bubba effect is just the beginning. This will be an absolute nightmare for all politicians.
Most Christian men think ministry and business don't mix. But what if your business could be your ministry?
I'm so pissed off.
What?
I was on this show. They were like, hey, you want to be on a prediction show? You'll be squaring off against the guy that predicted Osama bin Laden, the financial crisis, and the caliphate. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just knew it. I didn't know it was going to happen that quick. But like 2 days later.
2 days later.
And it comes,
Texas is in trouble. And as goes Texas, so goes America. So goes America, so goes the world. Texas has got to get serious about, and I know they are to some degree, but the president has got to get rid of all of these restrictions, and Texas has to get all of these, and we have to concentrate on electricity.
That is why I put in a wood stove last year. So if we lose power in the middle of winter, I do not have to worry about these dumbasses heating my home. Yeah, we might all have to stay in a living room or stay in one part of the house or whatever. We make it work. But yeah, I theoretically see, our power goes down all the time anyway. But yeah, we start having rolling brownouts and it's 25 degrees. Now I got a stove. I ain't got to worry about it no more. And I feel a hell of a lot safer as far as taking care of my family having it.
And not just electricity for the average homes, for these data centers, but for the average homes. The grids are already under strain. They're not, the problem is if they start taking this electricity off of the grid, the old grid, you can't pour more electricity into that grid. The grids are already at the breaking point. They're old, they're brittle, they're not prepared for what we have to do. That's why they have to build these nuclear power plants at the server farms, because they cannot go onto the system because the system can't handle that much power. We are in real trouble, and everybody is still talking about solar power and everything else. You're out of your freaking minds. Nobody has any idea. Stu, I'm sorry. Stu's like, watch your language, mister.
I'm sorry,
that
Mr.
F you
hit really hard at the beginning. I was wondering what road we were going down.
You're out of your mind. People have got to wake up to between now and 2028. I can't emphasize this enough. If you've listened to me for a long time and you heard me say, I'm telling you, we're going to have a financial meltdown, and it is going to be the worst. It's gonna, you'll lose your 401k, you'll lose everything. Get your money out of the system. I was saying that in 2006, 2007, and no one was listening. Thank God a lot of the listeners were listening, and they saved their money and got it out in time. I'm telling you now, with just as much surety in this, the world is going to change in such profound ways between now and 2028, in ways you cannot even imagine at this point, that you have to be, forget your money, forget everything else. You have to be spiritually in tune. You have to be rock solid in who you are, what it means to be human, what it means to be alive, what's important, what's not important. And this is so hard. I'm a guy who's in this business. I'm telling you, this is why in this last week, I've spent more time on that woman in Canada than I have on really important things that are happening politically, because the most important thing we can do is realign ourselves with truth, universal truth. Humanity must be preserved. Your life is worth saving. Your life is worth living. Don't go down the road of madness with the rest of society, because right now these gigantic corporations, in Silicon Valley, they are promising us the only way out. Listen to me carefully. The only way out to pay off our debt or to survive our debt is to have something that takes our country and pushes our GDP up, by 10 points. All of a sudden, if that happens, then we're starting to make more income tax revenue and we can pay the debt. We can afford the things that we've already, spent money on. If we don't have that, we're into a different bad scenario world. So they're promising us that, but at the same time, they're promising us we can pay the debt, we can lead the world on this, but we also are not going to have a lot of jobs. Oh, and by the way, to do that, we're also going to have to take energy and maybe for a while take it from the people who can't afford food, don't have jobs, don't have meaning, and don't have power. That doesn't lead to any place good at all. Warning, it's coming. Please, please pay attention to those things that are meaningful.
It makes a lot of sense.
If you can't quit the P word, I want to let you know that Scripture tells us that successful men are often the ones that deal with this, from David to Solomon to Samson. For the last 4 years after opening the door to Unchained Leader, we've seen
There are the above ground storage containers. That's insane. I mean, here in Texas, where we have a lot of oil here, and even where they store the oil, like in the city, they have these big round containers. They have the oil in. I don't know, 5,000 gallons, maybe 5,000 gallons. I don't know I don't know how many gallons it holds. These big, huge containers, probably about this size. But not only are they there, they have to have basically like a moat around them. And then around, say, 20 foot out, they have like berms all the way around it. So if it leaks or whatever, were to start losing oil, it would get caught up in that berm that they basically build around it. These don't have anything. I mean, you can't, at least if you have it underground, the radiation levels are at least kept at lower. But then you look at Nevada's water, they poison the water there. So I don't know. Why not load it in Elon's fucking rockets and shoot it to space? Why not do that? I thought that a couple of times. Why don't they? Of course, if the fucking rocket blew up going to space, then you really got a problem. That'd be the best place to store it. Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have to kind of include that to the price of doing it, you know. I don't know. Find some other use for it, you know. Which I don't guess there is. I don't know. If I did, I would be a rich man. that is cool. Yeah, it's true. Then you have to worry about getting sucked back in. I mean, I don't know. Too bad they can't like dump them into active volcanoes or something where it just destroys it. Then you have radioactive lava, I guess. That wouldn't be good either. So you end up with more blue wolves. Oh, well, all right, guys. I've been on here for about 3 hours. I've got to get up early. I'm going to reunion tomorrow. And I'm going to come home and I'm going to go deliver a dog. And, or as we say, rehome. And they're a real nice family. So it's going to go to a little girl. So anyway, I'm going to hop off here. Y'all have a good night. And I'll probably be back up tomorrow. More than likely, but we'll see. Anyway, have a good night.